Do you like dumb movies? Of course you do. And I from time to time love to take part in the dumbness that Hollywood has to offer, because not everything has to be a quintessential, multi-award winning super flick scored by Hans Zimmer. Fall is one of those dumb movies. So the story begins with a very CGI climb on a cliff, and we get to meet two girls and a dude. Becky and Hunter are separated, and this possible dude is climbing close to Beck until this possible dude makes a misstep and hangs without being able to hold the rock, and suddenly he falls and dies.
Yes, very sad. Anyway.
Now, I say this is a very dumb movie because right off the bat, the conflict that starts this movie has already been done twice, if my memory serves right, and both of those times led to better movies than this. But the dude dies, and we found out that was actually Beck's husband, and she's been very depressed for 51 weeks. Damn. Wanna put that in months? So she's been depressed for a year, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who's tragically wasted in this, comes to talk to her, and she dismisses him because she's an utter wreck. Because fuck you, dad, I won't let you help me, I'm my own woman and I choose to be sad. So Becky's about to chuck a bottle of pills down her gullet when her friend Hunter calls her. Right on time. So Hunter comes with a proposal to get her out of her depression, climbing the highest tower in an attempt to conquer their fears and push their limits. Honestly, Bali sounds better. So they travel to an inn close to the tower, and they meet the worst waitress in the history of cinema, who denies them when they ask to charge their phone. You know what, Gertrude? You're not getting any fucking tips tonight. And in order to charge their phone, they come up with this.
Cool life hack. Now I'm just gonna line up the prongs with the elements in the land.
Fucking what? Look, I'm no electrician, but I think the only possible outcome from that is this.
Now I'm just gonna line up the prongs with the elements in the land, and...
Now we get the second red flag of the movie before we leave for the tower. So Becky has a dream with her late husband, who apparently can only say he loves her through Morse code. Fuck me, this movie is stupid. Why should I keep reviewing this piece of fucking hell?
Tits for clicks.
You know what? Maybe this movie ain't that bad. Let's keep on watching. So they pack up their things, almost get hit by a truck. Don't block and drive, kids. They park outside the fence and they walk to the bottom of the tower. Here's where another alarm went off for me. So this chick lost her husband in a climbing accident and has been hugging a bottle for the better part of the year, and her friend thought of nothing else than to bring her to another climbing expedition to cheer her up. On top of that, a very challenging one. The level of atrophy that this chick has on her muscles after being drunk and depressed for almost a year is huge. I'm surprised this chick can even climb out of bed. But because this is Hollywood and muscle performance has nothing to do with the movie and is completely irrelevant, they carry on the climbing. So she clearly shows signs of PTSD all the way up. Hunter keeps telling her she's got this, and we get flashes that the tower is not exactly in the best condition and some bolts come loose, much like the heads of the writers of this movie. Once we get to the top after a long climb, we take some pics for the gram. I'd say the shots don't look pretty bad. We have a heartfelt chat about feelings. She scatters her hubby's ashes over the edge and we're ready to go down. So Becky takes a few steps into the ladder and unsurprisingly it falls down. Now because they tie themselves together, as she falls down, the rope pulls Hunter's belt, who apparently has the grip strength of a fucking gorilla and prevents them both from falling and wrap this story sooner. Right, now that we can finally declare the suspense of this movie is gone, what happens next? So she pulls her up in a clever way, I might add. I'm not a huge fan of rock climbing, but using a pole as an assist seems pretty logical.
I just died on
Grammar check? Right, so we're 40 minutes into the movie and we finally start seeing the stupidity of our actions and how the fuck do we get down? So they start checking their phones, no signal. Right, by the looks of it, she's got an iPhone 9. If I'm not mistaken, you can send an emergency signal through a satellite without needing any signal. But I'm not an expert on iPhones, so let's just say they can't, so let's give it the benefit of the doubt. So they check the very conveniently placed emergency box and we find binoculars and a flare. Man, I hate to be the maintenance worker that gets stuck up there. I mean, not even a radio? So they realize that their bag, the only one they brought, is out of reach, and Hunter says that people probably heard the ladder falling. Yeah, there's no one coming left. Becky finds a boo-boo on her leg and oh man, this movie is great. But we get a wide shot of the tower and my thought was, if this chick is such an adventurous, and I'm guessing an expert climber, why only bring 50 feet of rope? And why not parachute down? I know it sounds dumb, but base jumpers can jump off from as little as 200 feet or 61 meters in non-freedom units, 10 times less with what we got right now. But anyways, they spot Walter White's caravan at the distance and Hunter has the brilliant idea of fetching for signal. Plan 1 is lowering the phone with the 50 feet of rope that they brought to this extremely challenging climb, which obviously doesn't work because if you can't get signal at 2000 feet, 1950 feet is gonna be a little difference. and she dangles herself with one hand. I'm telling you, the hand is from this chick. I'm getting sidetracked. So that doesn't work. Plan 2. Let's drop the very fragile phone from a 2,000 feet structure like the egg drop challenge. Just to further extend the idiocracy of this plan, the record for an egg drop is 213 meters, so 700 feet. Now I know what you're gonna say, a phone is not an egg and it's a little bit tougher than that, but let's do some math. Right, so they put the phone in her shoes and put it out with a push-up bra and they drop it off the edge. So the iPhone weighs around 200 grams, the shoe, let's just say a women's shoe will weigh 300 grams, and the padded up bra is 200 grams. So they're dropping 700 grams from 2,000 feet, which will accelerate to almost 400 kilometers an hour and will hit the ground with a force of 41,845 Newton, or about 4 tons. Considering that iPhones get smashed when you drop it from your hand, and assuming that by the time the phone is low enough to pick any signal, it would already be traveling so fast that it wouldn't have any time to do anything before exploding into the ground, yeah, I don't think this plan is gonna work. So Becky spots a suspicious tattoo on Hunter's ankle and we see 2 dudes at a distance outside the RV. But before rushing and shooting the flare, they decide to wait till it's a little bit darker. About an hour. Very smart. So a couple of hours pass and it gets dark and Becky is not saving her phone's battery for some reason, and the dudes spot the flare and they see them at the top of the tower. Oh, finally they're safe. Nope, the dude just straight up robbed her truck. Well, that's another avenue that's also close. So they fall asleep without strapping themselves. I'm guessing the winds at 2,000 feet are not that serious, and Becky confronts Hunter about her tattoo, and we found out that Hunter was sleeping with Beck's husband. What a dog. I mean, if your husband can say I love you to you, I wouldn't be surprised he's fucking other women. So the morning comes around and they're still talking about it.
I fell for him. I mean,
Damn,
he listened to me. He was just different than every other douchebag that I'd ever dated. And
you're not helping your case.
I loved him, but I love you more, so I ended it. I don't blame you, and now we're stuck on this stupid freaking tower in the middle of freaking nowhere. And it's all my fault.
You got that part right. So up to plan number 3, thirst is becoming a problem, and with her water at hand's reach, Hunter decides to rappel down to the bag. She gets herself down, but she's still short of getting the bag, so she detaches her harness, ooh, careful, but still no dice. Man, the grip strength, nope, not gonna go there. So in a final effort, she swings herself to the platform and gets the bag. Woohoo, success! But now we have a bigger problem. How does she get back to the rope? Well, lucky for her, one of the useful tools that they brought to the expedition is a selfie stick. So she attaches the bag to the stick and hooks it to the bag, and then she jumps into the bag. I'm not even gonna question the tensile strength of the rope, but the bag strap took that way. Okay, so the next step is for her to climb up while being pulled by Becky. Easy. So everything's going smoothly, but right before she grabs the ladder, her foot slipped and she plummets down. Oh, I can't look. Oh, she's fine. But the hands are destroyed from the rope burn, so Becky in all her might pulls her all the way up. With the back in their power, plan number 4 is to send the drones into the diner in order to deliver a handwritten message. Okay, I'm not an expert in drones, but most commercial drones can only fly up to 9 kilometers or 5.5 miles. Remember that I had to drive to get to the tower and walk an extra mile, and on top of that they're 2,000 feet up in the air. But they start flying the drone and find out they don't have enough battery to make the trip. Dang it. If only they would have charged it in the night before going on their expedition. Right, so another night passes, we're still on the tower and the sun is starting to have an effect. Eesh, we're gonna need a lot of aloe vera when we get to the ground. So plan number 5, and this is a good one, we're gonna use the trick that we did in the diner and charge the drone using the socket at the top of the tower. Oh goodness. So Becky grabs her things and starts climbing with Hunter giving her support. Now at this point in the story I'm half asleep, but I still take time to appreciate how this chick that hasn't climbed in over a year, suffers from mild alcoholism and depression, is dehydrated, and hasn't slept well in 2 days, is able to climb a straight pole at 2,000 feet in the air. But she makes it to the top, unscrews the light bulb, and MacGyvers the charger into the socket using her ring. Very convenient. Gold is a good electrical conductor, so I'll give her that. Now here comes the cool part. So you know that electronic devices take a little bit of time to charge. So this chick has to stay up there, hanging from her fingers at the top of the tower until the drone is fully charged. I wouldn't blame you if you zoned out of this movie by now. So even after being attacked by a vulture and showing signs of physical fatigue, she hangs on and easily drops down to the platform. Man, this movie is great. They definitely know their audience. So they have to wait a few hours till the diner's open to launch the drone, and while they wait, Becky keeps showing signs of fatigue. Okay, plan 6, time to launch the drone.
Just keep that shit straight. Not overwork.
Man, who would have seen that coming? So the trucker hit something and didn't bother to investigate any further, probably one of those large flies made of metal. Another plan failed and the birds are getting ready for a feed, and I can't blame them given the state of Bex. So in her slumber, she suggests trying the phone drop again, but this time Hunter says they can't do it because her shoe is not on her, but down there.
What?
Give me your shoe.
I can't.
Why?
It's not up here, is it?
What?
It's down there.
What?
It's on your foot.
Yes.
What? And here's the real reason why I'm reviewing this movie. And it's not just the titties, okay? I'm not that shallow. Right, so we are an hour and 27 minutes into the movie. It's gonna end in 15 minutes. My attention is gone. Except when there's titties on the screen. I already left the theater, I'm driving home, I'm stopping in McDonald's to get some food. And you decide to hit me with this twist? Looking at the movie a second time, there were signs that Hunter was dead. First of all, the unlikeness of her catching the bag, her last words to Beck before climbing down, how she didn't react to the bag falling, or her staying nice and awake while Beck was flailing. I didn't notice any of that. I was bored as fuck. The fact that they waited to the end of the fucking film to give us such a good twist upsets me hard enough to make a YouTube video about it. So back at the final stage of the movie, Bex realizes that Hunter is dead, and her PTSD made her believe she was alive. So a storm hits and she thinks of her dad and apologizes to him in a video. I am honestly more surprised that her phone still has battery. And the morning comes and the birds are ready to have some Beck. But surprise! She's alive and wrestles the vulture to submission and eats it. Yum. And with her newfound energy, Beck ropes herself down the tower for a final plan, dropping the phone but with a larger padding. So she tucks her phone into Hunter's shoe and then in Hunter and sends it down. I won't even bother to do the maths of this one. And in the next shot we see JDM driving down to the tower, giving some very sorrowful no's.
No. No.
And Beck and him finally reunite. We get some inspirational words and the end. So yeah, a very dumb movie but with a very cool twist that's buried and an hour and a half of dumb, illogical plot. The acting is okay, but what does this movie actually teach us? If your partner can't say I love you, don't marry him. Invest in therapy. Don't go doing dangerous activity without the proper equipment and or training, and if you do, tell someone about it. Haven't you seen 127 Hours? The dude lost an arm, you lost your whole friend. But the most important lesson is that if your movie is bad or boring, having a good set of titties in it will keep me watching all the way to the end. Shout out to Cat Dennis. If you watch this far, give us a like, let me know in the comment section below if you watch full and what are your 2 favorite things from the movie. And yeah, hope you liked the video and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.